fox hunting is a countryside tradition.
But the thrill of the chase is a blood sport.
At the end of the day, it means a kill.
And that's leading to war between the hunters and those passionately committed to killing off the sport for good.
And now, new private armies have been hired to protect the hunters and gather intelligence on those sabotaging the hunts.
At the same time, a few masked extremists have widened the war over what they regard as animal abuse and brought it into the city.
Some people are going to extreme lengths to fight for what they believe are the rights of animals.
Every weekend, two sides confront each other in the countryside over fox hunting.
We investigated the mounting toll of violence and the latest tactics used by both sides. Adele Chrisman from Redbridge and Linda Embleton from Guildford don't look like frontline radicals, but they're dedicated members of the Hunt Saboteurs Association. At weekends, they shout and scream to throw the hounds off the fox's scent. They came to our office to tell us of a disturbing new development in what they said was a barbaric sport.
There is no place in any civilised society for something as brutal and as callous and as bloody as killing for sport, for fun.
Are you willing to be arrested for it?
Absolutely.
Linda, what exactly did you want to tell us about hunting?
Well, every aspect of hunting, but firstly I would like you to investigate, if you will, the hunt's latest tactics of using security men to keep us off private land.
Linda, aren't you concerned about your own safety?
Most definitely.
Yes,
these are hired thugs,
Mm.
and they won't stop just because I'm 47 or a grandmother or whatever. I'm a saboteur.
Both are part of an urban army which sallies forth from London to do battle. Adele and I joined the Brixton Mob, the shock troops of the Hunt Saboteur movement. Their vehicles, their clothes, had almost a military image. You've got a very kind of distinct image.
An obvious image only comes about because of need, and we need to dress in a certain way for functioning the way we do. We run over large fields, we jump over fences.
Yes.
How do you feel about going out with, you know, with all these
It's great.
youngsters?
They're nice kids. Yeah, it's great. Yeah, lovely.
Soon it was time to saddle up for the hunt. The Brixton Mob climbed into their battle wagons and battened down the hatches. Adele and I got into our van and the convoy moved out of Brixton's side streets. A fox hunt was about to get some very unwelcome visitors. We motored out of the city and headed south through Surrey and into North Sussex, fox hunting country. As we neared the hunting fields, the police quickly picked us up and tailed the saboteurs' convoy.
I, meanwhile, had my Hunt Supporters hat on to investigate who exactly were the men guarding the hunt.
Roger, brown shirts down here, just down the road, 5 minutes away from you. All right.
I came across them almost immediately. They were blocking an entrance to Petworth Park, a National Trust property, and filming everything that moved to build up information on the Hunt Saboteurs.
Soon our quarry came trotting down the road, the Chiddingfold, Leconfield and Cowdrey Hunt. The saboteurs had to run miles to keep up. So did I. It felt like a marathon. Keeping up with the saboteurs every step of the way were the grim-faced guards, who then shut the park gate on us, even though it was a public footpath and we had right of way. When challenged, they had to let us through. They had no authority to stop us.
They'd already let me in because I looked like a Hunt supporter. I used a secret camera behind their lines and discovered this hired van. I helped it out of the mud and found it had brought security guards from as far away as Nottinghamshire for the day.
People were rushing about in all directions. I'd run out of breath and got separated from Adele, our granny saboteur.
The guards, however, were equipped with two-way radios. The guards cost £85 a day, and some have military backgrounds. They were used to dealing with trouble and reacting quickly.
Offensive weapon?
Well over 100 saboteurs from all over the southeast were still trying to disrupt the hunt.
Despite heavy security, they were succeeding.
We have 100 odd saboteurs somewhere down in there, and I've got about another 30 over there.
Fearing violence, the hunt organisers decided it was best to call it a day.
Bloody good hunt this morning.
You're not going to sort them out, are you? You're not going to have fisticuffs and things like that.
We're going home.
But the saboteurs' convoy didn't go home because they didn't believe the hunt was being abandoned.
We're following the Brixton lot because we're going to go to the kennel to see whether the kennel's there, but we still haven't located Adele.
The hardcore Sabs were gathering at the kennels to see if the hounds were back. And that's where I finally met up with Adele again.
Where have you two been? We've been looking everywhere for you.
We've been looking for you. What happened was we got cut off because I'm a little bit slower. And we actually stumbled on the hunt and the supporters, and we have been knocked and pushed and shoved and screamed at everywhere.
Then the violence started. Some saboteurs threw bricks and stones over the kennel walls. They were promptly tossed back by the other side.
What I wanted to know is what the purpose of this is now.
Well, the huntsman is a real die-hard sort of hunt-type person, and he hunts right until it gets dark normally, so I can't believe, and the police haven't actually confirmed it to us, that they've actually packed up now. So we're trying to get a look and see if the hounds are in the kennels.
A masked Sab was trying to peer over the wall. He was hit hard by someone on the other side, only feet away from the police. The man was taken to hospital with suspected concussion.
The hunt organisers stayed protected behind police lines whilst urging them to act against the saboteurs. The kennel yard had been pelted with missiles and vehicles inside were damaged. The hunt was angry they'd been subjected to what they saw as intimidation.
So angry they let us in to see for ourselves. The hunt insisted it was only the saboteurs who were breaking the law.
But we discovered later that Jeremy Whaley, the hunt master, doesn't have lily white hands either.
Why don't you just speak to us on camera?
Because I don't think you need it.
The police that day were caught in the middle, their powers limited because trespassing on private land is not a criminal offence.
The police are loath to go onto private property to deal with sabotage unless they feel there's a real chance that there is likely to be a breach of the peace. So what we've done is to train up some stewards or marshals.
The red-coated fox hunter now needs a bodyguard to go about his day's sport. It can lead to a riot, like the one we filmed a few weeks ago in Essex. Stewards were there, and so were the police. Fighting broke out. 26 people were arrested and 6 injured. Increasingly, the police are being drawn into advising hunts who decide to hire guards.
I discussed this with the Assistant Chief Constable, and he said, well, if you decide to do that, we will cooperate with you and we'll actually give your stewards instructions.
Training?
And training, and some training, yes.
What sort of training?
And he would do it free of charge. And so the stewards met an inspector one evening and he went through the law with them.
The law can be applied in rather a rough and ready fashion by the Essex Hunt, though sometimes even they slip up.
I am leaving the block. I am leaving the land. Ask you to leave first.
These camouflage stewards, who had battled with saboteurs the week before, can only use minimum force to evict people from the land.
Do it, man.
Tell me why. The saboteurs tried to walk down a footpath to pursue the hunt and had their way firmly blocked by the stewards. The police backed them up.
It's all been explained to the men before. It's a public footpath to walk down and to cross to other land.
We're not.
You're not. You're going down there for another purpose.
No, let's do it. Come on. Yeah. Come on, let's do it.
Stop them.
No. You take us to court and you prove.
You're not having
Right, now listen, I'm telling you, any more and you are all going to be arrested. I'm not having it. Come on, off or you're going to be arrested. That's the situation. You know the law. I've explained it at length this morning.
There's nothing to stop somebody walking down a public footpath.
Yes, there is.
How do you know what we're going to walk down there?
I'm not going to bandy words with you. If there's any more of this now, you are going to be arrested.
The violence is getting worse. There have been hundreds of arrests, dozens of injuries, and 1 death 2 years ago. Often it ends up in the courts. Solicitor John Mackenzie has had much experience acting for hunt saboteurs who've been assaulted and falsely arrested.
I've heard a number of accounts of stewards attempting to throw saboteurs off land, and the stewards didn't even know whose land it was. They had no idea where they were. They were simply chancing their arm and trying to brave it out.
Are their actions legal in that case?
No, they're not, no. I've heard an incident described to me where stewards use violence on saboteurs to remove them from some land, and the landowner appeared and threw the stewards off. So they were simply being gratuitously violent.
Okay, gents and ladies.
An early morning briefing at the Surrey Hunt, where complicated legal issues of trespass and breach of the peace are explained to people who've had little experience of them before.
So I've agreed that if you're all presented to me with yellow armbands...
The fact these stewards now wear yellow armbands gives them legal authority.
Public footpaths, public right-of-ways, public roads, etc.
Stiffened perhaps with a little refreshment.
These men are the professionals. They belong to a security company called Country Watch.
These lads have been hired for the day by the Hunt.
We want a peaceful day.
Everybody's ready to go after a traditional something to keep the chill out. But the protection's coming from places where fox hunting isn't exactly a regular pastime.
You all live here, so this is your...
I'm from Islington.
You're from Islington?
Yeah. You're a mock man.
They're the amateurs. David Dunn, boss of Country Watch, isn't.
Okay, they're coming through this wood here.
He's an ex-soldier from New Zealand and very much in charge.
Please leave the land.
But it's the hide for the day stewards who are the ones who frequently confront the saboteurs in the fields. Both their tempers and their zeal can worry the police. Here officers had to push the stewards back and warn them.
Let's go. And the rest of you, you're not telling us how to do our job. You're right.
Young or old, the stewards will push saboteurs off the land.
Though often they do put up with astonishing provocation.
Whoa. Say, Sneezy, you're on the private land.
We know where you live, pal.
Usually it ends up in a standoff. Luckily, David Dunn diffused this one.
We don't really have that much control over the other stewards. They are working here for the local landowner as well, but we haven't really got the same control over them as we have over our own men. Normally we don't have another security group with us. We do the work ourselves to try to keep the peace and keep the violence out of the situation.
For the Surrey Hunt, that meant corralling them behind the protective gates of a disused factory.
Dunn organises security for 14 hunts. Business is booming, as long as there's trouble.
Apparently there's been a very nasty incident about 2 miles away, and people have been injured. There are some very nasty people around.
I've had fights 3 miles away from you, so it's gone far, far beyond your
Well,
age.
this is what we've always said, aren't we, that these people are just looking for violence and trouble.
So whilst you were quite happily hunting down here, I've got large-scale fighting going on the other side.
So you're requesting that we stop?
I'm requesting that it's over now today. We can tell your land agents it's all over, and I can tell our saboteurs it's all over.
So we're being actually told to stop hunting?
I'm
then?
requesting you to stop, yes.
Right.
Okay.
I think a collective decision is that we'll take the police's advice.
And we have to.
So from a law and order point of view, this area has become a no-go area.
Well,
because
say
we can no longer carry out a lawful activity in this area.
Hunt sabotage has been a major problem in the south, but most of Britain's 200 hunts are peaceful.
We went to the capital of fox hunting to see what it was like away from the human violence.
The beaver hunt in Leicestershire is one of the biggest in the country. They hunt 4 days a week.
We're going to see roughly over 100 riders at this meet, and that's not the biggest meet they had.
Nationally, it's claimed 250,000 people go fox hunting. 16,000 jobs depend on it, so it's vital to the countryside.
Should it be an integral part of the countryside? Is what they're doing inherently cruel? I must say, the traditions are wonderful, especially this tradition. Any chance of a glass?
Do you think you ought to give them a glass or not? They say they're on our side.
How long have you been riding for?
I learned to ride side saddle when I was 12 years old.
12?
Jumping the hurdle of negative public opinion is the task confronting the fox hunters. Like the hounds, the anti-lobby smells blood. They believe the sport will be banned by the turn of the century.
Is that the huntsman there?
This is the huntsman here.
Hunting is expensive, up to £1,500 a year to join. Some riders here keep 2 horses, though some have difficulty staying on one.
And Charlie the fox isn't that easy to outwit. What do you enjoy about it?
Riding nice horses and jumping nice fences on nice land.
Is getting the fox secondary?
I wouldn't say, when you say getting the fox...
Killing it?
Well, I would think personally, probably yes.
The Beaver's paid professional huntsman would be out of a job, and so would the pack of hounds he runs if hunting was banned. Some people think that when a hound gets a fox, or when the hounds get the fox, they tear it to pieces. Is that what happens?
Well, he's dead. He's dead. When they get hold of him, he's dead.
How quickly?
He either gets away or he's dead.
But how quickly do they kill?
Very quickly. Very quickly. Within seconds.
But it's not always a quick kill. An anti-hunting spy infiltrated the corn hunt and caught them digging out a fox which had run to earth. These scenes shocked even the hunting world. First they shot it, and then they tossed the body to the hounds.
The spy, Mike Huskisson, has also conducted an investigation on behalf of the League Against Cruel Sports into an alleged tax fiddle being operated by many of the hunts. It's a secret trade in the hides of dead farm animals, and it's claimed the income is hidden from the taxman. One example is our old friend, the Chiddingfold Hunt in Sussex. The master, Jeremy Whaley, runs on the side one of the biggest knackers yards in the area. His men skin the animals and he sells the hides, but he admitted he doesn't tell the taxman about it.
Well, we spoke to him on the telephone and he told us that he doesn't declare his dealings in the skin business to the revenue. We've been told from other hunts that as much as £2,000 a month in cash is taken in by huntsmen dealing in this business.
In cash?
Yes.
Cash in hand?
That's it, all cash.
The investigation found over 60 huntsmen admitted they declared nothing or only part of their income from the trade.
I decided to pose as a hide merchant willing to pay a little over the odds. Touting for business, I phoned Mr. Whaley.
Hello.
Oh, hello. Is that the Chiddingfold, Leconfield and Cowdrey Hunt?
That's right, yeah.
Is that Mr. Whaley?
Yeah,
oh, Mr. Whaley, I wonder if you can help me.
Roger arranged a purchase from Mr. Whaley and travelled down to Petworth to collect at the kennels. This is the commercial side of hunting, rarely glimpsed by outsiders, but a vital part of the setup. Roger went in with a secret camera while we monitored the deal outside.
We're paying good prices. I mean, we'll pay 15 a hide. Is that acceptable to you?
Yeah, that's okay, yeah, that's fine.
Fine. Well, shall I pay you...
Yeah, lovely, yeah.
Okay. I'll give you 20s. Is that all right?
Yeah, fine, that's okay, no problem.
Great.
Okay, lovely.
Right. Can we just make out a receipt?
Copy that, sir. Yeah. Just put the T on and see Hunt with us. Right.
If we do some, I mean, we're thinking really of trying to get a lot of hides now, and if we do some regular business with you, what do you want us to do? Do you want us to invoice you, or do you want to just, should we just come down?
We're ready to just come down. Really,
just come down, pay cash?
Pay cash, yeah.
Okay, fine. I've not dealt with hunts before. Is that how it normally happens?
Well, that's right, yes. I mean, we don't, I mean, you VAT registered, or what? You're going to declare VAT on it?
Well, I mean, if you...
Well, I'd rather you didn't, really.
Right, okay. You'd rather us not declare it?
That's right, yeah.
Okay, fine. All right.
Yes. I mean, you'll find with all the hunts, you'll get more hides that way than you will...
Well, then doing it... okay, then putting it through the books.
That's right, yeah.
All right, okay. Thanks very much.
Okay, lovely.
Nice to Mr. Whaley claimed he didn't benefit personally from the hide income. He said it all went to the hunt, of which he is the master and paid professional huntsman. The question now was, what on earth were we going to do with our bloody skins?
All right, Rod, well, this is what we got. So we make Denise a little stole out of this.
Looks like a mafia hit squad's been at work, doesn't it?
Awful, doesn't it?
Well, that was a bit messy, doesn't it? I didn't realise the skin trade was bloody as well as being lucrative.
Yes, well, some people believe it's just another form of animal abuse that needs to be fought. And I met one man who's been convicted of serious offences in the course of what he calls animal rights. Ronnie Lee co-founded the Animal Liberation Front. Animals are his life. In 1987, this mild-looking man was convicted of conspiracy to incite arson and criminal damage.
Well, I actually got a 10-year sentence, which meant that I actually served 6 years and 8 months, which is 2/3 of the sentence.
When did you get out?
I got out in November last year.
That's an awfully long time to spend in prison for the sake of animals. Why did you do it?
Well, what's motivated me right from the beginning is to fight for animals. Well, first of all, the terrible suffering that they put through at the hands of the human beings. Secondly, the fact that they can't fight for themselves.
Ronnie, you got involved in animal activism through Hunt Saboteurs, didn't you?
My story of getting involved in the type of direct action that the ALF carries out does, in a sense, start with Hunt Saboteurs, because I got involved in Hunt Saboteurs very early in my, I suppose, in my campaigning days.
Now others are carrying on where Ronnie Lee left off. Roger was told he'd receive a phone call late at night from Charlie, an ALF activist.
Hello. Yes, Charlie. Yeah. Where? Okay. I didn't know what had happened, but a special unit at New Scotland Yard is tracking the ALF's actions. My contact and his friends had trashed an East End slaughterhouse and stolen 150 chickens. So for obvious reasons, he was wearing a mask when I met him. Is it Charlie?
Yeah.
Hello, Roger Beam.
We found that there was 400 chickens in there. So what we thought was the best thing to do was take as many chickens out as possible and then go in and do as much damage as possible.
How many of you took part in the action?
There was 8 of us involved altogether. I've been taking actions for 5 years, from small scale up to bigger scale actions.
And how long will you continue?
I'll just continue until I get caught or sent to prison or animal abuse is stopped.
What's the evidence that you've actually done what you've said you've done at the slaughterhouse, Charlie?
We actually took a video of us inside, which I've got with me now.
Can you pass it to us?
I can do, yeah.
Thank you very much.
The ALF video showed oil and creosote being tipped all over the place to make the premises a health hazard. The slaughterhouse told us they'd been hit several times before. As for the chickens, they've now become free range.
The ALF regards Hunt Sabotage as another episode in their battle, but most saboteurs are not ALF activists, though the pro-hunting lobby calls them terrorists and blames the escalating violence on them.
I go hunt sabbing because it is a form of direct action which is legal, and I can actually get out into the field, the killing fields, and actually see the actions I take saving foxes' lives, and that is why we're out there.
So there's a direct connection between sabbing and taking more direct action?
Well, one's legal, one's illegal.
It's the same people some of the time doing the same things, just like you?
Yes.
Have some hunts stopped hunting because of the sabotage?
No, never. Never. The saboteur's idea is to try to put a hunt out of business permanently, full stop. And they haven't succeeded in that, and they're not going to either, because we will not be beaten by sabotage.
The hunt rides on for now, but only 12 votes in Parliament stopped fox hunting being banned last year.
The hunters insist chasing an artificial scent, for example, rather than a live fox, just wouldn't be the same.
That's Charlie, look.
So for now, Charlie the fox better keep watching his back.
Well, I'm glad the fox got away.
Yes, well, it was with a little bit of help from us. Hello, Charlie.
Local elections is that opponents of hunting are now more strongly represented in the Shire counties. Wiltshire County Council, meeting today, said it will decide in July whether to ban the sport on 20,000 acres of council land. Other county councils are expected to follow its lead.
The balance of power has changed at County Hall. Now the fox hunters of Wiltshire find themselves the quarry of a Labour motion to ban hunting on property owned by the county council, all 20,000 acres of it rented out to tenant farmers. It's an issue that brought demonstrators out in force today for both sides of the argument.
I will do my best to make sure that this particular barbaric activity will in fact stop before the end of the 20th century. I won't stop. This will be the 4th time that I've tried. If I lose it on this occasion, and I'm not prepared to give up and walk away, it will end.
Well, I think they've allowed the council, the tenants to have their land, and they should decide who they have on their ground. I wouldn't like to be dictated to it who I had into my house, and it's the same argument here.
Wiltshire is just the first county to put the issue to the test. Councillors in Somerset and Hampshire also propose to vote on a ban later this year, and other counties may follow suit. Tenant farmers, though, say they should decide who goes on their land.
I do like to see the redcoats coming across the farm. It's a very, you know, it's part of Wiltshire, isn't it, when the hounds come across the field.
The Wiltshire councillors today referred their test case ban to committee for consultation before a final decision.
As they prepare to debate this,
my proposal should be that fox hunting should be banned on county council land. The reason for that is that it is an inherent cruelty which is barbaric in a modern society.
It's a call that strikes fear into the hearts of field sportsmen.
That it's not for the county council to decide about hunting, and it's not even for Parliament, though they have supported us recently to decide, but the person to decide is here. That's the one to decide. It's my conscience, your conscience.
Nevertheless, the debate promises to be a lively one.
The Tories are no longer in control, so I
hope you jolly well share that bit.
The demonstration and the debate taking place here today is likely to be repeated in other shires where the Conservatives lost overall control of the councils in the local government elections.
To protest against racism, highlighted by the recent murder of the black student Stephen Lawrence. But when the marchers reached a bookshop run by the extreme right British National Party, they refused to move on. Police in riot gear quickly moved in, themselves becoming the target of a hail of sticks, bricks and stones. A number of protesters were injured, this man mistaken for a member of the BNP. Police on horseback were brought in to clear the demonstrators, and the clashes continued. Eventually, police managed to split the troublemakers from the main body of the march. Ironically, no members of the British National Party were to be seen. 2 police officers were also hurt. The protesters blamed the police for the violence, but officers accused extremists of hijacking the demonstration. Tonight, the family of Stephen Lawrence, who weren't at the march, disassociated themselves from the events. Anya Sitharam, ITN in South East London.
The tycoon as